So just like that, the DC animated universe is over. DC's Tomorrowverse, with the release of Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. It's done. It's finished. But has it been worth it? Is this film any good? Let's delve into that. So welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my review for Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. The third film that culminates in the end of DC's Tomorrowverse. Yes, the animated universe is over. But is this film worth it? Is it a worthy end to this universe of movies before it goes in whatever direction James Gunn now takes them in? Now I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler free as possible because there are spoilers in it. Obviously this film is based upon the seminal run from the 1980s of Crisis that culminated in the end of a very messy DC universe to start anew, and that's what this film attempts to do. So this film here, it starts off where part 2 ended, and the Anti-Monitor has grown into this massive big world killing individual covered in a shell essentially. And our heroes, they're spread across different worlds, and this film takes no time to put them into a safe place, so to speak. The Monitor himself, he sacrifices himself to power up all of the devices on each world that transports surviving worlds to what is called the Bleed, a place that is between universes essentially, where they are safe. Only we're given a place where time and space doesn't work as we know it to work normally. So we get moments where some of these worlds are overrun with dinosaurs being chased by the characters of the Losers and things like that. Different goings on different worlds, all while the Anti-Monitor is attempting to destroy all these planets, and he's doing that. He's tearing into the fabric of space to make his way through into this Bleed, and as he comes through, he sends out a wave that then destroys different planets. Then he goes away again, then comes back again, and he keeps doing this sort of a thing, and it's up to the heroes to come together and figure out a way to stop him. Now I'm going to keep this spoiler free because there are spoilers in this that I could go into in this film, and I don't really want to if you want to go in watching it. So this is what the film, it runs at 98 minutes, okay? Hour and 38 minutes. And to be honest, it's probably the same as the others in that there's a lot of filler in this film. There's a lot of stuff to pad out the runtime. You know, the scenes where dinosaurs are coming through and things like this, I'm thinking this is just silly now, and things on other worlds that are happening. They go back to the Western world that was introduced to in War World animated feature. There's a lot of harking back to some of the previous features, but overall it does feel like this is a complete wasted opportunity, in the sense that it's a rushed ending, in that, you know, they knew James Gunn wanted to get rid of this animated universe, and they've been forced to put these plans into motion with Crisis before they were actually ready. It doesn't feel as put together as well as what it could have been, so to speak. Now, there's some good stuff in the film. The primary bits that work for me are the stuff with John Constantine and what we find out happened at the end of the other DC animated universe that came before this. If you remember, when the Flash went off, we come to find out that the Flash has gone off. We see what's happened to him. He goes off and he goes to kill Darkseid as a child. Yes, that sort of would you kill baby Hitler kind of scenario. He goes off to kill Darkseid, but he doesn't do it. He refuses to do it. But what's happened is John Constantine has has put a hex on him, so to speak, a spell on him, so that wherever he goes, he kind of spreads a disease that kills people, and thusly Darkseid gets his comeuppance like this. But the problem is that Darkseid is meant to be a fixed commodity in space, a fixed individual in time that needs to be there, and thus they've taken him out of the equation, and that's what's caused all of this going on. So I like the way it links back to the previous kind of stories, and this is what I was hoping James Gunn would have done with the live action, that The Flash had come as the last film in the DC live action universe, and we had a through line, someone to carry us through into that new universe. Here you've got John Constantine doing that, but you know, they should have done it with that, but that's an aside. So this film here, obviously the major death is spoiled on the poster, that being Supergirl. And if you know the story of Crisis, you know that Supergirl sacrifices herself. She gets killed, and that's exactly what happens in this film. So that's not really a spoiler in a sense, right? Because it's an iconic image of Superman carrying her body. That does happen in the film, yes it does. But we also get that kind of ending you saw at the end of the Flash live action, where you see these different worlds, and you see these different worlds being destroyed, different animated worlds. And we get to visit a couple of historic animated worlds that you will recognise from the past outside of the DC animated universe, which was a nice little nod and historic thing. But you know, harking back to a time when there was some great animated series on TV. You know, it looks great. You know, and that visit there was wonderful. But that aside, you know, the film does end. It does give us a finality, and yeah, the problem is watching this, I'm thinking, you know, you got 3 90-minute films thereabouts, maybe a bit longer. Would I sit down for 4.5 hours and watch all of these again? I don't know. Like I said, there's so much filler. There's so much filler. Warworld does come back into play in the film. Yeah, it just feels like you've taken this story, you've made 3 animated features out of it, and you didn't really need 4.5 hours to tell this story. You could have easily trimmed it down to a 2-parter, knocked 1.5 hours off of it, made it a bit tighter in its storytelling, a bit more focused, rather than these little asides that are going on in different places. Yeah, but ultimately, it's not the most memorable of animated features, apart from a few nice little elements here and there, kind of sporadic throughout. So yeah, really it comes down to a rushed goodbye to the Tomorrowverse more than anything else. Animation wise, same as before, nothing different. Voice cast the same. So if you like that, all that stuff, that works for you. The animation I quite like, the thick, heavy lines. But yeah, it was merely okay, nowhere near as good as what it should have been.